Stephen Gall on the comeback trail after a couple of seasons mixing his racing between two wheels and midgets, but hasn't done a lot of speedway lately and getting back into this high season. Joe Madsen locked into position 12, position 3 rather, in car number 12, and on the outside Videoruss Jr., point score leader. This time he goes green. The action opens up for the sprint cars tonight, and Brad Hayward on the 47 car's not going to hang around the back too long. Makes it 4 wide with both outside wheels on the wrong side to push it down straight away. And Brad Hayward, big drive, and the title is coming up the field, coming through from the back. Stephen Gall is finding his way through turns 1 and 2. Bob Rutley tucks in behind, and Russ Jr. The next one, 2, and back to the rest. Jamie Moyle from South Australia. Car number 69 takes over 4. Jamie Moyle in 4th, back then to Bruce Hill. Joe Madsen in 12, then comes Brad Hayward, and Skip Jackson in the double 1 car. Looks for the inside now of Stephen Gall, and appears to just slow down and tell him Stephen Gall gets the momentum going, and just gave Bob Rutley a tap through turn 2, but the two cars race on. Paul Scott is the extreme rear at the moment. Car number 70, car number 70, the All Black racer, over on the back section and about to be gathered in. 1 million mile an hour by Stephen Gall, Bob Rutley, and Gary Russ Jr. The 40 car challenged on the inside by Jamie Moyle, who races up to take over 3rd. Rutley relegated to 4th. Jamie Moyle in 3rd running. Gary Russ Jr. in 2nd. And the race leader is Stephen Gall. Former Mr. Motocross champion, and a couple of seasons back the Australian Speedcar champion. Now heading perhaps towards victory in this opening sprint car heat, round 2, Sutton Motors Sprintcar Gold Cup. Moving deep into the closing laps now, only a handful remaining. No change at 1, 2 and 3 readout. Bob Rutley drops back down to 5. Problems with that 40 car, it would seem, as Bruce Hill takes over 4th running. One of the BCR Bradpack, car number 88, 2nd generation racer, Bruce Hill. Hill goes off the circuit on turn 4. As Russ Jr. slowly begins to reel in Stephen Gall. But whether he'll make it, only a few laps left. Paul Scott causing some anxious moments for other competitors and himself that time, but wisely decides to return to the pit enclosure. Stephen Gall manages to increase a length or 2 over Russ Jr., but Jamie Moyle closing rapidly on young Russ now with the wide flag out. Final run. Down on the back section of the circuit for Stephen Gall, just about got this wrapped up. 1 turn left to negotiate. Stephen Gall will go on and take the win over Russ Jr. Fast finishing 69 car out of South Australia of Jamie Moyle, followed in then by Bruce Hill. Back then to Brad Hayward, Bob Rutley, Skip Jackson, the double 1 car, Joe Madsen off the pace in that opening heat. Back then to the wild child, Robbie Sparr, car number 3. Ken Jenkins and the sprint car officials take the opportunity to cast a final eye over the lineup. Max Doverty running for Valvoline in car number 20. On the outside of his dad-in-law, Sid Moore, car 95. Max, 2nd place getter in the Australian title. John Shaw from Gosford in car number 66. The current Parramatta track champion Bob Tunks, 54. Veteran Brian Linigan on the outside in 25. And Grand Tunks, junior racer, car number 55. Grand Tunks at 55 as we go green. We turn on the taps, 4 laps of racing. Sutton Motors bringing you the action. Heat 2, and Danny Smith, as expected, from pole position, leads the field down the back section with George Tatnell muscling his way through now into the second running. Tatnell, any element tonight, it would seem, already out to chase Danny Smith. As Tatnell sets up to chase Sid Moore, just off both his son-in-law Max and Ron Cricky in the 99 car, and Sid Moore takes over the third running. Bob Tunks into the infield, and the number 54 car, Bob Tunks. Still in a dangerous position over there is Tunks in car number 54, and the amber caution lights being brought on now, recovery units and crash crew moving in to attend to Bob Tunks. So there'll be no time on event number 3 on the card, heat 2 for the sprint cars. 9 times, a record that Dennis Jules not in our lifetime, I'd say. Okay, green flag flying, and away goes Danny Smith. Smooth circuit out there at the moment as Sid Moore puts a bit on. Ron Cricky down the run from turn 2, heading to the back section. Cricky in third, giving Sid Moore and James Dunn his face. Up on the infield is John Wall. With the leader, George Tatnell in second. Up on the scoreboard, lap time on Danny Smith. Our current 1 lap record holder here at 13.64. So Danny Smith in no hurry at the moment, cruising to what seems certain to be a win for the second qualifying heat tonight. George Tatnell settling down in second, and Ron Cricky is the third, and Grant Tunks in the number 55 car. Grant Tunks finds the outfield and what appears to be the crash barrier as well. The number 55 car, Grant Tunks, brings on the amber caution lights. So the field will be brought back up onto the tail of Landers USA number 1 car, whittling away that comfortable buffer that Smith had opened up over Tatnell, Cricky and Sid Moore. On the infield, and has been denied a restart. This time we go green. Walsh goes back to the pits, and Danny Smith leads onto the main straightaway, and the thunder and lightning opens up. Oh, off the circuit goes Tatnell and kisses by to 6th or 7th place. One through the wheel was locked up to make sure he doesn't lose that one. That relieves the pressure now on Danny Smith. And Ron Cricky says, no, very much. The west of him. Heads the 99 car up into the second spot and setting sail now after Danny Smith. But it's Brian Linigan who can't keep it together now. 25 and Linigan now on the infield. Skips away. And Danny Smith's going to take him through the traps 1 million mile an hour. Dutchy's got the green flag flying this time, and they're racing. Away goes Smith. Cricky and Sid Moore bringing up third running. Ian Bradford looks for the outside, and John Shaw now as the races down the back six to pick up the place. John Shaw tucks in behind, and George Tatnell on the hunt also. But no change up with that sharp end of the pack at the moment. Smith still leading from Cricky and Moore. And it's something about the lead actually next one through from Ian Bonser Bradford and George Tatnell. Heat 2. Also beginning a charge through from the back of the pack, but I think it's far too late for Tunks to make any impression whatsoever, even on the middle markers at the stage. Danny Smith, he's pretty cool and pretty collected at the moment in his final VCR appearance. summer. Heads down the back section and extends that lead to about a quarter of a lap over West Aussie Charger on Cricky and Seymour. Almost the same distance as Seymour, just getting the front wheel on the inside, off the deck. Hauling that freight down through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Smith, up to drink the white flag. Less than one remaining for the American now. As Danny Smith heads to victory, jumps down across the wire. And USA, number 1 car, heads to the black and white over Ron Cricky. Sidmore takes third in car number 95. Then Ian Bradford in the number 77 car from West Australia, George Tatnall.
Maybe Gary's given him the opportunity to see how fast he can stay with this heat. Might be just a bit of action. It might have been a bit of fun in the pits on Saturday night. And boy, did those two boys work hard for it. And I know Ivan walked up and said put his arm around Gary and said, I know a lot of people said you're finished. And I know a lot of people said my motor's aren't any good. But gee, isn't it a sweet feeling? So good luck to Ivan, especially to him. Well done.
Thanks, Stuart. And really, Ivan is no slouch. We've seen him a couple of times out here in Sprint Car Mechanics fun runs, and he's has been impressive and pretty cool. But he's not going to do anything, I would imagine, that would jeopardise damaging the car. But right now, let's get back to the serious races up front as we pick up the action. Hard and fast. Down through turns 3 and 4. And young Brooke Tatnall skips away in car number 8. Brooke Tatnall, the leader now, over Ray Lacey. Ray Lacey from Victoria in car number 16. Jumps out of the pack now into second running, and around goes Nolan is now in car number 10. Well, the job ahead of Brooke Tatnall now as the field tucks in behind, and Ray Lacey, one of the veterans out of Victoria, is all set to open up the challenge on young Brooke Tatnall. And with all due respect, I think Ray's about 3 times Brooke's age. He's still in there and pitching hard. A lot of change of tyre brands as they went through turn 2 on that occasion. And Lacey is about to feel the sting of the 9-time Aussie champ Gary Rush, as he leaves Lacey in his wake down the back section. Rush into second and setting sail after young Brooke Tatnall and closing. Tatnall the leader, Rush senior in second. Lacey at the moment holding on to third. The assault still coming through at the moment from Rod Bowen in the number 76 car, but up and over this time is Greg Nolan in car number 10, and Fowler also involved. Nolan upside, well, on his side at any rate over there. Almost midway, in fact, right on midway between turns 3 and 4 for this third sprint car heat tonight. Let's go racing out of position 5. There's Green. Action is on. Gary Rush comes through on the inside of Brooke Tatnall. Brooke Tatnall finds the horsepower, and Tatnall jumps ahead. Rush gets on the inside and takes the race right up to young Brooke Tatnall. But young Tatnall going on with it now as they head up through turns 1 and 2. The Maestro goes to work on the inside, and the amber caution lights come on. Looks like they might have come on a little early there at the number 24 car it was of Wayne Skipper, completing the loop down there, managed to keep the fire alight. Nevertheless, they'll join up behind Brooke Tatnall once again. Okay, well, Fowler moving into the tail at the moment. Well, Brooke Tatnall showing a lot of guts there to continue the race with Gary Rush. And Rush really hammering away. Nice and clean, but hammering away there. on the inside of Young Brook. Can you imagine how hard it would be? How confident Rush no doubt would always feel, but how much sweeter that confidence is with that unheard of 9th Australian title. Back into that car with Rush at the moment. All right, we go green. Continuing on, and again, Rush dives on the inside of Young Brook Tatnall, who has it covered. Tatnall matching in the horsepower stakes at the moment as they head down into turn 3. Big dive from Rush as he keeps the taps turned on deep into turn 3. Good Tatnall sitting ahead of Rush at the moment and still calling the shots for the clean bys. The Rush tucked in behind. Rod Bowen puts a move on Ray Lacey and takes over third. Bowen kicking up the dust with a run onto the infield. Rejoins the circuit, but pretty much well out of it at the moment. Through goes Young Brook Tatnall. Oh, Gary Rush! Oh, Tatnall dive on Tatnall, but Tatnall fights back on the outside. Matches wheel to wheel with Rush as they go up through turns 1 and 2. But Rush takes the upper hand. But Young Brook Tatnall is anything but throwing the towel in the nose. As the young charger comes back again. Oh, but trouble now over on turn 2. Peter Craft and Gary Madsen, who were involved in the initial stoppage on the run to the first green, finally get it together over there on turn 2 and do it all over again. But this time it looks a little more permanent for both drivers, along with Australia's hot shots as well. Join us Friday night here for Mike Racing, turns the clay race. Good cars return to the action as the green goes again, way goes Rush. Young Tatnall now also under siege from Rod Bowen, who seems to have heaps of horses. That's done at the bottom. Amazing dive from Rod Bowen, managed to straighten it up and duck in behind, but still giving 1 mile-an-hour chase to Brook Tatnall, working hard in second running. Ray Lacey's dropped back to fourth now to and Skipper at the 24 car. And Skipper further back in the pack, Peter Craft charging through. And Ivan Walker making good bits of it at the moment, but all the action up with the first 3 drivers in this race at the moment, and the bulk of that action between Rod Bowen in third place, challenging Brook Tatnall. White flag out now for Gary Rush in the number 1 car, completely dominating the third heat. And Gary Rush goes to the black and white after shutting off early off turn 4, and of course light on display at the same time. But Gary Rush in the Australian number 1 car takes the win over Brook Tatnall in car number 8. Rod Bowen, car number 76, position 1 is Jack Hewitt from Troy in Ohio in the United States. Jack Hewitt on the outside. Little Skip Jackson, car number 11. The Wild Child, Robbie Farr, car number 3, position 3. And joining him on the second row, on the outside is Brad Hayward in the 47 car. And Stuart Telford to bring you all the action.
Heat number 4 tonight for the sprint cars, and Jackie Hewitt from America dives hard into turn number 3 down there. It's very slick. Car's going to find it difficult, but not Hewitt. Hewitt comes in slick position. In the number 3 car, it's the Wild Child. We see 1 car around. Already 1 car finding a little bit too slick to get around on the opening lap. The Wild Child, in fact, seems to be enjoying the slick conditions in car number 3. Jack Hewitt, he really enjoys these conditions. From the Midwest of America, from Ohio. Back there in car number 26, the Carrera Sports Eyewear car. Set to go racing again. Gary Rush being fired up once again. And Hewitt jumps. Hayward makes his move on the inside of far down the back straight they run. And it's neck and neck into turn number 3. Oh, the wild roll, too wild. And drop the plate for Brad Hayward. Oil's there. The engines squeal as they go past. All the horsepower being used down the main straight, having to be feathered through the turn. Listen to Hewitt's car. Some problems up here. Some bogey corner for Bob Rutley. This has not been a kind corner to Bob Rutley this summer. This is about the 3rd or 4th time that I can remember him being involved in an incident up here in turn number 3, this time with Bruce Hill, 2 cars spinning, the new driver of car number 70, also doing a donut and going around. Michi throttles down the back straight and Hewitt jumps. In turn 3, Hewitt jumps and so does Moyle. Green flags out. All getting into turn number 1 very fast. And are they through? They are. Down the back straight into turn number 3. Before I get a chance to talk, he's out of turn 4. And it's Hewitt, the race leader. Jackie Hewitt. Second to this too, not all that far behind. Jamie Moyle in third to South Australian racer. Up there as well. Oh, Bruce Hill trying to run too well on the track. Bouncing his way through and losing a few seconds there. Skip Jackson is in the 11 car and he follows Robert Farr in car number 3. Yellow flag out, car number 70 involved in the incident up there, along with Bob Rutley. Track's clear, set to go, and Hewitt's away again. The engine screams in Hewitt's car. Hayward hangs in second, Jamie Moyle in third place. Next to fly past is Robert Farr. Big move by Madsen, then Madsen taking young Rush. Rush Junior flies back. Whoa, good passing. It's back on up in turn number 3. Rush back a spot now. Madsen getting through. Some good swapping of positions. Madsen on the tail now of Stephen Gall. He's trying to pick up a bit of the run on the racetrack. Jamie Moyle starting to inch closer to Brad Hayward's car. Jack Hewitt coming down to a flying lap now. He's in open space. Rockets fast. The blue and yellow 21 car. Now look at the dice gone for 3rd place, 2nd place now. As Jamie Moyle slips past on the inside. What a pass on Brad Hayward. I said he was catching, I didn't even see him catching that fast. And Hayward has dropped back into 3rd place as they take the last lap. So Jackie Hewitt flies past to take the lead. Look, it's still on. Jamie Moyle from South Australia takes 3rd. 2nd. Brad Hayward is in 3rd. Robert Farr was next in 4th. Then came Skip Jackson. Stephen Gall in the 26 car was next to finish, then car number 12, Joe Madden.
77. Off position 4, Max Dumpney. Locked in tight from the third row from position 5. 12 laps of the journey. We go Scream and the sprint cars Scream. Up to turns 1 and 2. Running on the extreme high line as Bob Tunks finds a slingshot there. And Bob Tunks goes to the lead. Ian Bradford also has his designs on the high line and runs around the outside. And Brian Lincoln in car number 25. If you notice in the previous heat, the American Jack Hewitt was the only car using that high line cushion and was using it to absolute maximum and absolute perfection. Brad Tunks in trouble again in car number 55 and on the outfield, and the push truck's being brought up. Bob Tunks, his dad, the race leader at the moment in car number 54. Okay, off turn 4 this time, and green and away goes Tunks. Car just coming thick and fast from the middle markers. Sid Moore puts a big inside run on the 66 car of John Shaw, and right up on 2 wheels with Ron Cricky, and comes back onto the track, Stone, Mother Lazar, and Danny Smith comes out of the pack and blows it right open. Danny Smith comes through in the USA number 1 car, and it's all too much there for Ian Bradford. The West Aussie follows suit from Ron Cricky and spears to the outfield, drops way back. So the new readout is Danny Smith, Bob Tunks and Max Dunsey coming onto the scene now to open up the challenge on George Tatnall. George Tatnall back in fourth land on the inside of Max Dunsey as they head onto the main straightaway. No love lost between this pair. As George Tatnall reclaims third place, Max Dunsey gathers in, and Brian Linnigan goes out in typically the 25 car. As Danny Smith says, good night, gentlemen. The USA number 1 car just kisses the cushion up on turn 1. And again, Danny Smith shows how to put that cushion to good use, as did the American Jack Hewitt the race before. Australians attempting to get the job done on the low line. Max Dunsey getting a charger off turn 4, all of a sudden sees the big yellow tail of Bob Tunks' number 54 car swing across in front of Valvoline number 20 car, but Dunsey, all that including Tunks behind him as he races now into third place, chasing George Tatnall. Smith and Dunsey on the cushion. Bob Tunks gets the idea and goes up there too, while George Tatnall prefers to labour away on the inside. All Danny Smith now, backing off comfortably in the number 1 car. So the readout is Danny Smith, George Tatnall and Max Dunsey. Bob Tunks the next one through. John Walsh, car number 75. In no hurry, 15.67. Oh, and Max Dunsey fixes up George Tatnall. Oh, yeah. And Tatnall goes to the infield. White flag out now for Danny Smith in the number 1 car, but the amber caution light's also out. So we'll watch the outcome with great interest here. Let's see what happens now. George Tatnall in car number 5. And Max Dunsey, well, did not look good. Okay. Interesting. And Max Dunsey, and the ill feeling has been brewing for quite some time. George Tatnall draws alongside of Max Dunsey. Oh, an exchange of chrome work, and now Sid Moore, part 2 of the family affair, comes in to give Tatnall. Oh dear, oh dear. So the mobile chess game continues over on turn 2. We're told that George Tatnall has been allowed to start in his original position. They say the stoppage wasn't George's fault. So we go green and it's on again in earnest. Meanwhile, Denny Smith, oblivious to all that's happening behind, races on as the Aussies now sort themselves out further back. George Tatnall keeping low with that blown inside rear, holds down a narrow second over the remainder of the pack. John Walsh comes through, Bob Tungsten's there also. The two West Australians, Bradford and Cricky. Here comes the number 20 car of Max Dunkley. Sidmore's dropped pretty well out of it at the moment. The 95 car of the black and white finally comes out now. George Tatnall survives in second. John Walsh grabs third, and the winner was Danny Smith. Danny Smith over George Tatnall, and John Walsh, I think you will find in the 75 car, finished third. Max Dunkley with a late charge, but it was all too late, and no time going out on that one. And that was a very eventful Heat 5 as the family feud opened up at PCR. On Saturday night, sprint cars and modified sportsmen with the Natrad radiators and the modified division back on deck for the Natrad Classic here. Hope you can join us Friday and Saturday night. Let's pick up the field over onto the back section. And it's Colin Farr grabbing pole position in car number 9. Colin Farr in car number 9 in the pack off position 1. Rod Bowen on the outside. Green flag flies is Gary Rush in the Australia 1 car. From position 3, looks to the inside of Rod Bowen. Bowen driving hard, loses out on second there with Gary Rush, but Bowen keeps the foot in the bucket all the way around turn 4. Rejoins now, but under siege from Kerry Madsen, but the amber caution light out now for Greg Nolan in car number 10. Hasn't been a good night for Greg, any problems handling the conditions at the moment, and once on its side, twice around for Greg Nolan in a number 10 car, but manages to fire up again. The second Australia 1 car. Trevor Sherrill, 17. We go green and racing again. They do it all over again down the back section now as Colin Farr jumps out, but Gary Rush doesn't find the opening as the previous lap. The number 1 car, Rod Bowen, gets right on the cushion and hightails on turn 4. Bowen in second, Rush challenging on the inside. Meanwhile, up front, Colin Farr is going forward as Kerry Madsen moves through, but comes up the seat now. Brooke Tatnall. Making the neat Huey there was number 10 car, I think. There's some D's of Nolan. We switched briefly to yellow, but Nolan making a U-turn. The amber lights come out now. And oh dear, Nolan doesn't realise it. As he slows to a halt in the middle, the amber caution lights have come out for Brooke Tatnall. Okay, Brooke Tatnall's itchy to go racing. Colin Farr coming up slowly in the number 9 car. The green is at the ready. Colin Farr slams the car sideways, stands on the gas, and it's green flag conditions again. Rod Bowen on the extreme high line, just gets a wheel over the cushion. Gary Rush perseveres with the inside line as Rod Bowen gathers up pole against turns 3 and 4. Bowen continues to use the high line now. Rush moves up, but finds a drive down low. Heads across 3, and for the second time, the third time tonight, Kerry Madsen and Peter Craft come together. Madsen up on the infield, and Peter Craft with nowhere to travel. Slammed into the out of shape Sherry Madsen. 3 times the cars have touched. Throughout the heat racing tonight. Off on pole position. Ron Bowen slams sideways now and loses out as Russ takes the jump. We go green. Peter Craft regains 4th running now, and Fowler is last away in the 22 car, and Brooke Tatnall humps and jumps his way across turn 2 on the inside of Speedway into turn 3, but Colin Fast will call it shot ahead of Gary Russ in the Australia 1 car. Ron Bowen pretty cranky, I would say, about losing the jump there as Peter Craft puts his claim on the inside, and but Colin Fast continues to lead. Heat 6, the Sutton Motors down the back section. They run at Gary Rush now. Attempts the slingshot run off turn 2. Colin Fast still has a couple of pictures on the outside. Finds the horsepower there. Triple Creek, Young Fast down the main straightaway. Far on the inside. Rush on the outside. Out of turn 2 they run, and the slingshot comes good as Gary Rush takes Heat 6. Ron Bowen drops back now behind Peter Craft. Craft in 4th and finds all sorts of troubles there as Ray Lacey, Nipper Lacey gets hooked up. Don't forget to join us on Tuesday night, a complete rerun of the Australian Sprint Car Championships in Brisbane, and of course all the action from Parramatta. You'll hear about it on 2VCR Tuesday night. 7:30 to 8:30 as Gary Rush takes the green and makes no bones about it, but Brooke Tatnall's come through to take over second running. He was up on the infield. Brooke Tatnall in second. Colin Farr ushered back to position 3, and Skipper finally spins to the infield there as the yellow flags are raised high down on turn 3. Racing again, there goes the green. Rush kicks away. Brooke Tatnall makes a dive on the inside of the Aussie champ and gathers right up on one. Fast sitting in a solid 3rd at the moment. A lot of action further back in the pack as Ron Bowen gets back into it, right side up the side of the 76 car. Rush managing to withstand the challenge from young Brooke Tatnall, moving into the closing stages here of Heat 6 of the qualifying. Rush continues to lead, no change over Brooke Tatnall and Colin Farr. Then comes Peter Craft and back to Ron Bowen. Keith Stewart there also, as Rush now puts another lap on the 22. Colin Farr chases the highline cushion and need only complete the journey to lock up 3rd. Ron Bowen again experiencing handling difficulties now after the upender, the 76 car. The black and white goes out to Gary Rush, the Australia number 1 car. Place, forming up over on the back section, and as the sprint cars move into position, so does Stuart Telfer, who's getting set to bring you the action.
Here they go. What an important race tonight for Bobby Tunks off the front row. He was the 18th highest point scorer, or 19th highest point scorer, and it's tight. Only 3 cars transferred into the night. Sutton Motors Gold Cup. Down the main straight. It's young Robert Farr in car number 3, the race leader from Bobby Tunks in 54, and then it's Bonza Bradford, Ian Bradford from Perth, Western Australia in car 77. He's moved into 2nd place now, going past Tunks. Next one up is Bob Rutley in car number 40. Nibble Aces there in 16. Wayne Skipper in the Rainbow International car is being joustled by Jack Hewitt. Jack Hewitt, a non-qualifier in the Gold Cup so far, and doesn't look like he's going to make it from back there. Tunks fighting back on the inside of Bradford. They're the danger positions, 2 and 3. And as I talk, look at Hewitt making a move. Hewitt starting to jump through the car. Bradford pulls away again from the 54 car. Then comes Hewitt, Madsen, Rutley, and you can forget the rest of Ray Lacey almost goes sideways in the 16 car. Once again, car number 3, the leader of the B main tonight. Whoa, look at that. It's now Hewitt does come onto the scene. Hewitt in 4th place, looking for 3rd as he lines up on the outside of Bob Tunks. Oh, Tunks makes short track of it. And Hewitt, car number 21, slams through on the inside to take 3rd running. The bubble spot. The bubble spot in this race tonight. Only 3 cars transferring. And Hewitt chasing Bradford now, looking for security spot. Young Robert Farr, the wild child. Car number 3, down the main straight he goes. The red car, the Lander Toyota car, running in 1st place. Bradford in the Winfield racing car, the red and white car, in 2nd and 77. And now Hewitt in the blue and yellow car. Car number 21 from the United States of America. It's Hewitt, who excels on the slick tracks, making his movement through into 2nd on the white flag lap. It's last lap action now, as we see the race leader down the back straight, come up to the back of Keith Stewart. He can knock it out of gear and coast across the line. It's been a great beat. Main win to young Robert Farr. Hewitt crosses for 2nd, and Ian Bradford gets the final transfer spot. Joe Madsen was 4th, Bob Tunks 5th, Jerry Madsen the next one to cross. Brian Lennigan, John Shaw, Bob Rutley, Wayne Skipper, Nibble Lacey, Trevor Shields, and that's about it. Well, what a great driver was there by young Robert Farr. He's up the front row. He's just out of the main event on points. So the next in points started on the front row of the B main, and that was a big push for them, an exciting B main for them. And Robert Farr, the 16-year-old son of Dennis Farr, the racer. And how about we put our hands for a 16-year-old boy this late at night out at winning sprint car races. Put your hands together and great drive, Robert Farr.
Gets set for the action. Sutton's Motors Homebush present the 30 lap 1990 Sprintcar Gold Cup. Gary Rash on pole position, takes the jump and takes the field up to turns 1 and 2 for the first occasion. Danny Smith from turn 2 with the amber caution light. Amber caution light out, and the first victim is John Walsh. John Walsh in the number 75 car, so they'll form up again. They will form up again. The faces start at the 30 laps. States fellow American driver Jack Hewitt back 2nd but last row on the inside, so locked in tight and a long way to travel. And a wall of wings and wheels comes off turn 4 to see the green. Once again we head towards the 30 lap journey. Brooke Tackle on the extreme high line, hunts around the outside. The Western straight into the 6 minutes. George Tackle climbs up over Max Dunkley and Tackle. Tatnall involved with Max Dunkley. Tatnall climbing up over the top of the 20 car, going to the outfield, is picked up by Bruce Hill, and also slamming into the number 5 car was Ron Cricky, and Tatnall will be out. It looks like, looking through the binoculars, bringing the number 5 car right up, and also on the monitor now. That looks to be the end of the story for George Tatnall. For yet another episode. And George Tatnall now about time to return to the pit enclosure. Next up, still in the field in the number 20 car. Car. Appears to be minimal damage to the West Australian racer, Otto George Tatnall. Tremendous intrigue and drama tonight for GT. The quick lift recovery unit being brought in at the moment, and again Gary Rush holds the pole line and the pace in car number 1. Very relaxed Rush at the moment. Moves an arm over the bonnet of the 600 to 700 horses locked into there. The Ivan Walker prepared aluminium Chevy. And Danny Smith will be making the most of that outside groove. Once again, the wall of wings proceeds off turn 4, green flag, and 30 laps again of the journey as Gary Rush hugs the pole line on the slick conditions. Gary Rush Jr. goes up on the high line and finds his way through as Brooke Tatnall gets set to move up onto the tail now of Brad Hayward, but going around is one of the West Australians, and also Sid Moore involved at the moment. Sid Moore. Ron Cricky, the driver of car number 99, going around over there on a run through turn 3, and it's Sid Moore trying to escape the result stoppage on the outfield at the moment. Ron Cricky is out of the 99 car. Ron got clobbered over there as well, so it looks like it could be a blown tyre for Cricky. He's climbing back in. It's a blown inside front tyre. Cricky's climbing back into the cockpit for the number 99 car. And as most fans would know, the inside front wheel does little more than stop the axle from scraping off the ground at low speed. With that outside front doing the vast majority of the steerage. So Crick straps back into the 99 car. Jack Hewitt from the United States in car number 21. We're watching Hewitt at the moment to see Hewitt's move. So the field will move back to designated positions. Complete rerun. But it performed well. It's a pretty classy competition too. Okay, we stand on it. Looks like we're going without Hewitt at the moment as we go racing. Green flag again. Up to turns 1 and 2 and again. Complete carbon copy as Brooke Tatnall takes the fire this time around the outside and takes the race up to the American Danny Smith, and around goes young Brooke Tatnall right around turns 3 and 4 with one down now and 29 laps remaining here on the Speedway via the freeway. Danny Smith on that low line giving Brad Hayward the hurry up down the back section now as Brooke Tatnall stays on the high line while Smith disposes now of Brad Hayward, who tucks in behind the American. A trip to the infield for Stephen Gall in the 26 car, but they race on. Pretty hard to run into ball of dust and hope that there's no stranded sprint cars ahead as Gary Rush sets up a buffer now between himself and the American Danny Smith. Brooke Tatnall still travelling hard and travelling fast in third. Brad Hayward next one through, and that's South Australian Jamie Boyle. Smooth and easy does it for Jamie Boyle in the 69 car. Fast along the straight and easy through the turns of the South Aussie. But meanwhile, the high line flyers like Max Dumpy and Gary Rush Jr. are slowly reeling in the South Australians. As race leader Gary Rush comes through now to put a lap on Ron Twiggy. Oh, and Brooke Tatnall on that high line finds Brad Hayward's 47 car, so the visor full of the tail of the 47 car. Now, young Brooke Tatnall switches to the inside, trying to make a move on there, Brad Hayward again. Tatnall regains third as Hayward fights back. Smith in second. Gary Rush Sr. is the race leader over the American. The leading cars now beginning to eat up these tail enders, and Sid Moore is about to be gathered up by Gary Rush. Rush trying to pick his way through these tail enders as Danny Smith now uses the traffic to advantage. An attempt to close up on Gary Rush. So some of Gary Rush's lead has been narrowed by the American. Brad Hayward sits in third now as Jamie Moyle comes through to claim fourth from Brooke Tatnall. Jamie Moyle in fourth, Brooke Tatnall is fifth, then comes Max Dumpney and Gary Rush Jr. Danny Smith attempting to close up again on Gary Rush in this 1990 Sutton Motors Homebush Sprintcar Gold Cup. And the amber caution lights out now. Young South Australian Jamie Moyle has clambered through into fourth placing at the moment. Gary as pace setter, and they're all brought up onto the tail of Rush, who races away. Green flag conditions. The chance now for Danny Smith to move up and take the race to the Australians as they go 1 and 2 through turns 1 and 2. And Danny Smith locked in tight on the inside of Gary Rush. Rush finds back on the cushion. Smith has the inside line as Rush attempts to run with the American, but Danny Smith takes over the lead. Danny Smith goes to the lead. Gary Rush back in second now. Brad Hayward third. Rush loses the lead on the recommencement of racing as Smith comes low across the circuit. Diving through to take over that lead of Smith. And Rush now under siege from Brad Hayward, the Sutton Motors driver, and Hayward attempts to get through into second place. Gary Rush has all the tail of the number one car right up on the cushion, and Hayward looking for second. Rush fighting back. South Australian Jamie Moore further back, and Brooke Tatnall with a big outside program, snatching past. Doesn't pull it off, but pulls it back down track. Hayward now in second running. Rush back to third. Jamie Moyle is fourth, and Brooke Tatnall is fifth, about to be challenged now by Max Dumpney, who's got by Gary Rush Jr. to take over position 6. Rush Jr. back in 7, and Ian Bradford travelling hard, travelling fast on the cushion. The West Aussie 77 car tucks in behind John Walsh. Putting lap cars between himself and Brad Hayward now, and the amber on for Brooke Tatnall on turn 4. Brooke Tatnall finally finds the slick sector of the circuit. That would in fact tell the story for the number 8 car. Brooke Tatnall, Danny Smith, and Smith will need to have it all going for him. Rush's brake was unsuccessful on the last restart, but Danny Smith owns that inside line, no way through there, and Brad Hayward tags on behind him, the 47 car, but Gary Rush says, I'm going for the outside line, looks for the slingshot there, and the West Australian, Ian Bradford, finds a long, hard ride around the outside of John Walsh as they head onto the main straightaway, and picks up also Skip Jackson, but Jackson using the low line to good advantage now, but Danny Smith, as you can see, inside wheel, just hanging that infield and getting the drive there in the number 1 car. And Brad Hayward drops back somewhat behind the American, but maintains a handy lead over Gary Rush, who's back in 3rd place at the moment. Max Dunsey, the next one through. Gary Rush Jr. and Skip Jackson. Consolidate that lead. Gary Rush also not making any further impression on Brad Hayward. Hayward is second, Rush is third. Max Dunsey now coming into the action, as is Rush Jr. Ron Quickey about to be laps again as the 99 car. And Ian Bradford right in the thick of it now with John Walsh and Stephen Gall. Rod Bowen exits the event in the 76 car. Rod Bowen is out, going back to the pit enclosure. Danny Smith heads onto the back section of the circuit now, and there's just on half a lap between 1st and 3rd. Danny Smith the leader, Gary Rush back in 3rd, and that duo now split by Brad Hayward and car number 47. Brad Hayward, who finished in 2nd place to Max Dunsey in the 1st round, sitting in 2nd to the American now, Gary Rush. Still holds 3rd, Max Dunsey is 4th, no change back to Gary Rush Jr. Stephen Gall on the high line in the 26 car as he comes onto the main straightaway. As Danny Smith comes through to put a lap on Stephen Gall. Heading into the closing stages of this Sprintcar Gold Cup. White flag out to Danny Smith from the USA number 1 car. And Danny Smith will take the event from Brad Hayward. And Danny Smith crosses the wire. His final race at PCR, ending in victory. Brad Hayward slams the Sutton Motors 47 car across the wire in a solid 2nd placing, and Gary Rush takes 3rd. Gary Rush takes 3rd ahead of Max Dunsey and Gary Rush Jr. Tremendous 30-lap journey tonight for the Sutton Motors Gold Cup. We'll be crossing trackside shortly for the trophy presentation. please join us for our PCR farewell to Danny Smith, who continues the closing stages of his tour here on Australia Tour number 8, for the last time this summer that we'll see Danny Smith here at the Clayway. And Danny goes out as a winner. He's already got the helmet off. He's as pleased as punch. We're taking out the 1990 Sutton's Motors Sprint Car Gold Cup.